How the devil are you, everybody? How are you? We are breaking into some tunes. As I talk to you in my dulcet tones, I am here to talk mental health. Mental health. Let's get this set up. Let's get this going. This has taken me a few attempts tonight. It's almost like I've been a newbie. I've kind of got in and I've gone, nah, I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it today. And it just took me a little while to get myself engaged, get myself set up. How the devil you been? What you been up to? Hopefully you've been progressing positively, moving forward, taking your life to new levels, new challenges, facing new challenges, whatever it may be. Hopefully it's been bringing you some joy. I have, on the other hand, I've taken a short sabbatical. Reasons being, had to have reasons, always got to have a reason, and it's always nice and fair for me to explain what that reason was. So I took a little sabbatical because, as you probably know, my last podcast, I was starting a new role, and I wanted to give myself 100% focus. I wanted to try and mitigate taking any risk I could going forward. I really just wanted to reduce that risk, and it's really important that we manage our mental health. And by doing so, this is something I've learned. This is the process of reflection. This is that process of reflection, and it's given me that ability to know that I don't deal with stress very well. So I do and I don't. It's kind of weird. I put myself under stressful conditions because of the mental chaos that is going on in my brain, and I do that. But that's normally under control of an excitement, a dopamine rush, so I can kind of control that stress. It's the stress outside of my control is the one that cripples me. The ones where I don't get to choose the choice of the outcome. I don't get to control the outcome. I'm not a control freak by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like to be in charge of my life. I do like to be in charge of what I can manage, and the stress comes when I can't. And this was one of those situations. I knew I was going into a new role. I was taking on new challenges, new systems, new IT systems, new login systems, new walking around systems. Everything was new. People were new, personalities were new, and so on and so on. So it's really important that I manage that. And the reason being is because I wanted to give myself the best possibility of success. You've got to make those first impressions. And I didn't want to go in getting stressed. I didn't want to get going like overthinking things, because that's often what happens when we get into stressful situations. We overthink things. I've already done a little bit of that. I must admit, it's weird because, I've taken on this role and it's very successful, but there's it's the uncertainty of what my role is. It seems to be putting titles on things, and which is really important we do that, but it's how we utilize those titles and what they're supposed to do. That just seems to be sort of a frustrating aspect that is missing from a lot of organizations. We take these people on, but we don't know what we need them to do. So, but luckily the place I'm working is fully collaborative, fully supportive, and I've had some absolutely fantastic conversations, and it's helped to unpick those frustrations. We've worked together so we can get forward together, and that's the importance of having a really collaborative and fun environment. This is instantly, I've walked in and felt warm and welcome by this new team, and that's because I gave myself that chance, that ability to manage it, because people who truly know me know that I do take on a lot of stress unduly. I will put myself under those pressures, and I do like to say, yes, I hate letting people down, and often to the detriment of my own mental health, which is really why it's important to manage that. I think it's a hugely overlooked aspect, especially from men. We just seem to take on these challenges all the time, and we go, no, I want more. It's okay, I can take more. Don't worry about this. I'm built like a brick shit house. Let's fucking keep going. And then we don't realize all of a sudden we look around us and we're ill and we're gaunt and we're stressed. In fact, actually, just to allude on to that, I felt that today with my dad, and he's in a similar situation. He just didn't look 100% today, and you can see the stress. He had a stress, and it was something, I won't talk about because it's his own private, his own private topic, if you like, shall we say. But for me, when we were talking about it, I could see the frustration. I could see the stress that he was putting himself under, and I was like, dude, you don't need to do this, mate. Number one, you're almost 70. Fucking chill out, buddy. Go off and enjoy yourself. Do some hobbies. Invest more time back into making things that you want to do. Do things that you want to make happy. This is your free time. This is a time where governments and organisations haven't got a fucking grasp of you. Go and enjoy that time. Go forth and you shall succeed. And I said that to him today. I was giving that motivational speech. I was like, come on, you can do this. And it's really important, that, and I think that was a really warm and supportive aspect. Actually, I quite enjoyed that. And it alludes really. It sort of brings itself round like a nice little fucking apex of a corner. Into reconnecting. Today's topic, reconnecting. And it's sort of encompassed really in a massive amount of positives that I've experienced over the last couple of weeks. Now, I will say that whatever I've experienced now doesn't undermine the experiences of previous places, previous topics, etc. It's not like that. It's just a real positive experience in terms of how I've managed my mental health. I've managed it successfully, I think. Whilst I'm going through my own challenges, and I'm, like I said, recently I've got stuff that I'm going to talk about in the very near future, actually, finally getting somewhere with my mental health. I've moved forward, assessments are moving forward. It's all going really positively now, in terms of the support I'm getting. I've got a key worker. I don't want to call them a key worker, but they're not. It's like a one-to-one psychiatrist, but it's not one-to-one because we know the NHS is under struggling, but it's really important to get that support, and I'm getting that support. So for me, invaluable positivity has come out. I'm just taking a little sip while I slow myself down. So reconnecting, and that's the importance. I'm learning about myself constantly every single day. I've got people around me that are learning about themselves every single day. The people around me are positive. I know they are. And it's because that's the feedback I get from them. And then we sort of dive into the reconnecting. What do I mean by reconnecting? Well, like I said, it has a multitude of different things that I've experienced over the last couple of weeks, to be fair. And since starting this new role, because of where it's strategically located in terms of right near the main road, so it's got good access to the organisation. So for me, there's a plethora of people that I used to know living in the local area that all work at the same place. So I've managed to tap in, and we managed to reconnect. And I've had two real positive reconnections. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had 4 reconnections in literally the last 4 or 5 days, which has been a real positive aspect of my life, and it's nurtured new conversations for me, and brought into is straight away a new opportunity for work, which is feeds into my supportive nature, I suppose. More to come on that. But yeah, I've reconnected with a couple of really good friends, a couple of old school friends, and one that was a particular gentleman who was probably my best friend at school when I was there before it all sort of moved on. We just hung around with each other all the time. It was just kind of one of the first friends I'd sort of connected with when I came down to the area, when I moved down, because my dad was in the military, so we moved around quite a bit. This was where we finally settled. But we didn't talk for almost 20 odd years, just passing comments and just hi, how's things and all that sort of stuff. I don't even think I caught eye contact, shall we say, for about 10 years. So loads and loads of change, even to the point where he's got a third daughter. And I didn't even know that. And his third daughter's 21 months old. So that goes to show how disconnected we were, if you like. So we've reconnected. So we found out we worked in the same place. And I was like, mate, we'll have a coffee. Well, he said, actually, we'll have a coffee. So went and had a coffee, and that coffee turned from a half an hour booking slot to 2.5 hours of conversation. And I genuinely mean really, really, really good conversation. And it was actually conversation that was, I was quite open and honest about my mental health and my struggles and stuff that he didn't realise. Even though we're very close in terms of our families over the road from each other and growing up with each other. When you disconnect, you don't really understand all the little nuances, the little details that go along with life. So he didn't know what I was diagnosed with. So we were talking about ADHD, and we were talking about autism, and we were talking about the sort of sensory issues, and we were talking about the manic mind and all this. And, he was actually alluding to, similar issues, similar concerns that he'd had with friends and family and stuff that he was just, I suppose when you really dive into stuff and you actually open and honest about things, It nurtures a really unusual conversation for me, because normally it probably would have been a conversation. It probably would have been half an hour at best. It probably would have been a, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, pretty good, mate. Oh, we'll have to catch up. I think because we went into a different place in terms of, we were just like, dude, I'm fucking, what you been up to? He's got 3 daughters. I got 3 daughters. He was talking about the troubles that he's had. Unfortunately, his mum was diagnosed with cancer, really, really bad cancer. Which one isn't, James? It wasn't really bad. As in, what I meant by that was, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She was given 6 months to live, and almost didn't think we were going to make Christmas. And I heard about the news, and I was devastated. And I didn't really connect with him to say, I just sort of kind of messaged him saying, hope that everything's okay. That's kind of the level. It's really weird, but we didn't sort of understand, I suppose, the friendship that we'd had before, until we started talking. And then he sort of alluded to me. He just sort of said, yeah, and this is, I think, his mum's now into 3 years. So unfortunately, he was open and honest and said, yeah, it's terminal. We just don't know when. So he's battling that all the time, because, again, that's really hard, because he's watching his mum deteriorate over a long period of time with the inevitable and known to him. And what do? Do you want to spend as much time with her as possible, but give her a bit more time to be free and still be the person? It's a really, really big dilemma, and it's something that I never even thought about. But this is where this conversation went to. And this was because I was like, yeah, I've had this. And I mentioned about my suicide attempts, and he just sort of looked a bit shocked and sort of, But even just when I spoke about my suicide attempts, he dived in and just wanted to know, like, what was the triggers. And it was almost like it was an adult conversation between 2 men that would have struggled along the similar sort of situations. And it's amazing, the more people I connect with and the more people that I've spoke about, and I speak about them all the time on my podcast. I do. I'm not backwards at coming forward on who are the key people in my life. And all of them have an aspect of, I suppose, not really brokenness, but everybody, well, no, it is. Everybody that I've connected with on a really deep level in terms of good friendships, my Nilster, like Nelster and Kieran and Keister, Keister, Billster, they're all the Sturs. Do you know what I mean? And like my brother, my dad, we've all, even just Stefan, talking to him and talking to another guy, Chris Rendell, who's, I've spoke to him. I haven't spoke to him for years. These are names that probably mean nothing to you, but they're people that I've connected with at some point in my life. And all of them have had an aspect of something going on with them with mental health. Now, because I'm open and honest, it seems to have nurtured deeper conversations with all of them, and like I said, we've all had little struggles. I know for a fact that I've got very good friends. I've got my good man, Zipster. I've got so many people that I can rattle off my head in terms. I'm just thinking about the depth of their mental health. I take an active log of everybody's mental health problems to try and help and support as much as I can. And I know each and every single one of their details. And I know that, I've got certain friends that are grieving the loss of parents, and that is, how do you battle that as a mental health? And it kind of feathers into, just in this, like I said, I'll go back to talking about Steph for a second, in the sense that, we were sat there, bearing in mind, this is just in a work environment. This was a casual conversation. But because I was open and honest about my struggles, and I was talking about, like I said, the ADHD, and he was like, fucking hell, mate, I didn't realise it was that, and told him about what it had alluded to and what the triggers were, and the PTSD, the car crashes. We had a massive conversation, and he fed into all the struggles of his. And then, like I said, we spoke about his mum in quite depth. And he said to me, I struggle, James. And I went, what do you mean you struggle, buddy? And he was like, well, and this is, I think this is a key conversation I'm going to talk about here. And this line, you'll see now that the stigma of men and holding their emotions has never gone away. I don't think it ever will go away. I think men have got too much bravado to really allow us. I think it's there's a fair few of us that will allow it, and allow it for good. I think, it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes we can talk too much about mental health, but then sometimes we don't talk about it enough. Anyway, before I digress, I'm going to say a little snippet that he said to me. And he said, what can I do, James? I couldn't go home sad. I had to put on a face for my kids to make them know I'm strong, to let them know that everything's going to be okay. I didn't want to let my wife know that, that I was weak in any way, shape or form. And I said, "And what did you do?" He said, "Well, I just used to drive, and then I would just, he would cry." And I was like, "Mate, that's a sign of sadness, mate. That's a sign that you need to talk." And he goes, "He knows. He just never did." And I said, "I've done exactly the same." And I know that there's a plethora of men that are out there listening that have done that have gone and said, "I'm going to hide my emotions." We put on that brave face. We put on that mask, don't we? And he's done it. He said, "I've struggled." He said, "But I didn't know who to talk to." And he said, and we opened up so much about talking about, and then we even broke in and we were talking about my daughter, my oldest daughter, and the struggles that she's had. And he just went, the first comment he said to me was, "Is he still alive?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course, mate, because I've got to let justice do its course," and etc. etc. But it's important when I think. The piece of magic, the diamond bit, if you like, the diamond in the rough from that is two men, in their 40s, early 40s, sat down at work, reconnecting, talking about the struggles of being a dad, being a son, being a brother. We were talking about his struggles with his brother, and I was talking about the struggles with my sister, and so forth and so forth. So we talk about all these family things, and it was almost like, well, I don't know. It was overwhelmingly pleasant in a good way, not a sexual way. Calm down, but what I mean, it was overwhelmingly nice to be able to talk to somebody and just open up and get that feedback from them as well, and hopefully support them. And that was the fantastic bit. It was 2.5 hours of reconnection and just talking straight away. That said, right, we're going to organise a bloody party, mate. We need to get round. Come round to the Clock and Balls, and we're going to have a good time. So it's important to reconnect. I think it really is. And I talk all the time about reevaluating our friendships, reevaluating the people in our lives. I think it's important that we do that. You've got to continuously do that, because there'll be people that are on different paths, different journeys, that can't give you the time. And maybe you're going to keep, like I said, you're going to keep pumping your time into there, and you're not going to get the same reward. Now, it's not about... sounds quite shallow, but it's not on a reward basis. But what it is on, it's that satisfaction to keep you happy. If you keep trying and flogging the dead horse, as they say, if you keep trying and getting nothing back, you're not going to be happy, because inevitable about what you're doing, you're constantly trying to keep that thing alive, whatever it is, friendship, relationship, working relationship, whatever it may be. You're trying hard to keep it alive. If you're not getting that, then just cut it off. And as harsh as that sounds, you get one chance in this life. You've got to live it. So if you're surrounded by any sort of toxicity, just remove that so you can get that happiness. And it's important as you do that, and as you evaluate your friendships, sometimes you'll get that call. Sometimes you'll come across something that you've had a friendship before, relationship for, whatever it may be. Maybe that reconnection brings a re-spark into your life and adds that little bit of extra happiness. Because I know for a fact that when I finished talking to him and I'd opened up, and it felt another connection of talking, and yeah, it was just a wonderful feeling. It was really nice to be able to alleviate some of those pressures. And also, I suppose, in an indirect way, it reinforces that opinion and reinforces that notion that, I'm not unique. Everybody does go through things that are very similar. There's nothing unfamiliar to his situation, in the sense, even you could look at it, there is something unfamiliar, obviously, with his mum. But what I'm saying is, I had a similar scare with my dad and his cancer. He's had a similar scare, and it's not a scare, so, it's inevitable, but with the power and strength in his mum to make it pass. And this is what I said to him: look at the positives, and the love that was surrounding him with her has made that prolonged by 2.5 years and still going strong. And this is the importance of medicine evolving and also having the strength to want to fight as well. And I know his mum is honestly, she's super amazing, absolutely fantastic. And I know for a fact that she's got that determination to fight and battle. And hey, miracles have happened in this life. So, what's to say that, something isn't going to be that, she isn't going to be that person. We just don't know. So it's really important to understand reconnect. And that reconnection brought with it more memories, more refreshing older memories from my childhood, refreshing and rekindling new groups of people that are bringing into your life with different interests, different things, different whatever it may be. And it's important to do that. I think it's invaluable to do that. If you've got that opportunity and that opportunity comes across and things are better, shall we say, for whatever reason, you might have just gone sideways because of life. That's what I said, and that sort of alludes back into the fact, unfortunately, with life, it does keep moving. Some people go on to different paths. You may not be part of that path, but you were part of it at one point. And the important bit is you've got to have some quality time with that person on their journey. And I think that's a really important way to look at life, really, I think. Let me just take a little sip of this water because I'm being healthy. So yeah, it's really, really important to think about this. And like I said, the invaluableness, that's not even a word. I'm just making words up now. But I can't even think of another word now to replace it because it's completely gone. But it's invaluable. It's invaluable to keep looking at our life and making sure the people around us are there for a reason. Are they? And that, again, take that on context. It's not like, oh, I need to get something out of this. Are they there to make both of your paths positive? And that's important. That's really is. And like I said, it's rekindled this friendship. It's also allowed me to understand and talk to somebody with similar issues and concerns, and it's like I said, it's really interesting how he still thinks about life like that, even in 2024, even when there's me in the same similar generation to him openly talking. We still got this massive stigma of men that just hold on to that shit. They hold it on, they bang on that mask, and it's not his fault. Absolutely not his fault at all. It's ingrained in us to be able to show that we are strong. We can't show weakness, even though there's no battle out there anymore. We don't need to fight, because that's why you inherently need to fight, because you're trying to fight for something. We don't need to fight for anything anymore. The thing we need to fight for is just keeping ourselves happy, keeping ourselves positive, getting out there, getting the memories, spending time with these loved ones, the friends, the family, the people that really make memories for you in your life. So that's a reconnection. And that was 2 people there, so I'm giving you a little breakdown. There's 2 people. There's another 2 more. What the fuck are these? He says. And they're again, old friends, even one of my friends I say reconnect with. It was more of a he's been meaning to come to the Clock and Balls bar. It's becoming a little place to be. He's been meaning to come here for a while, probably about 3 years, and finally he came along. So it was like a reconnection of something we said we planned a long time ago, but I'm a mental health fucking absolute train wreck, so I made things really awkward. It never went ahead. Finally came round. The Billster's been in. You've heard him on this podcast before as well. I do a lot of podcasts with him, but yeah, he came around and we had an absolutely fantastic time, and we were just, it was just good food, good friends. And then the icing on the cake for me this week was an old friend of mine, Chris, who I'd worked with years and years ago. Again, Chris means nothing to you. He's a person, but he means something to me in the sense, again, he come round, we had a few beers, we literally sang karaoke until 2 a.m, completely and utterly fucking alienating myself from my neighbours. But the beer was flowing, the tequila was going. I mean, Jesus Christ, drank half a bottle of tequila, but we had a really, really good time. Made some absolutely amazing memories. And that's the important bit, is we all gelled together. We all, there was like I said, Chris at the time, again, relevant to you, but that he was a guy, he didn't know Billster. So they were new friends, and it just it was just nice. It was a warming welcome. It was a good time, good food, good company, good music. That was what it was all about. And that spread positively into my weekend after Saturday, when my hangover completely and utterly fucking train wrecked my head, but it was worth it because I had a really good time. It's worth it. I don't mind a hangover if I've had a really good, and it was. I woke up in the morning fucking absolutely plastered in mud, rolling around the fucking, it was just crazy. It was absolutely bonkers. But that's the importance of reconnecting. And I think that it's something that goes hand in hand, works hand in hand with how we look at our mental health. And for me, just even listening to the conversations with the people, listening to each and everyone's conversations, every single one of those men that I spoke to over this period of 4 or 5 days when we've reconnected and we've touched base, have all had something to talk about with regards to mental health. All of them have. And are they talking? Or are they talking normally because they're talking to me and I'm bringing that out of them? Do you see the importance of nurturing the positivity, nurturing people to be allowed to be in a comfortable, safe, free environment? And hopefully that's something that I actively advocate. I want people to feel free to be able to talk to me, because I just think it's important, and I really find it really rewarding to be able to help people, or at least just listen. And sometimes it takes that independent person to listen, and I think it's one of my skill sets. I like listening to people, I like helping people, and hopefully if it makes that, I think it's sort of, I described it as a little bit to one of my friends actually the other day, and I text and said, how are you? And I described it as imprinting on somebody, and I kind of imprint on them. I kind of like that. I don't know why. It's just kind of like, I like to make an impact in someone's life. I think people can come, people can go, and, we go through life, but I like to be that memory. I like to be that person that someone goes, fucking hell. Do you remember them? Sometimes you'll talk about your past and you'll go, I mean, more so for me, I'll be like, oh, do you remember that fucking guy? They used to hang around with him, and he was an absolute fucking nutter. He went down the fucking hill in a trolley across a fucking dual carriageway and fucking launched off the back of the ramp like he was on GTA. That sort of guy. You remember that guy. I want to be that guy that someone remembers. That's James. Hopefully batshit fucking crazy, but real nice guy. That's what I don't know. I don't know how you describe me. You'll have to let me know how you describe me as a person. It's interesting, actually. That's a nice, easy... well, it's an easy way to fucking destroy your mental health, actually, to be fair, depending on what you hear back. But for me, I thought it's a nice little 180 reporting because, number one, it indirectly allows somebody to hopefully give you a nice compliment, which is always nice to hear because that's something that men just do not hear. I'll be honest with you. It's rare as rocking horse shit. Rare as rocking horse shit that I'll ever be told, oh, you look handsome, you look nice, or whatever. You rarely get compliments as men. I don't care what anyone says. It's quite rare. Maybe you get it in a good relationship. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you might get it. You should get it in a good relationship. But do you know who most of the time, if I send a fucking selfie to someone, or send a photo, it's the men. It's my fellow men in my little group that go, fucking dude, looking sharp, looking fucking hot, mate, or whatever. They give you the boost. So I suppose it's a nice indirect way of kind of cheekily getting a bit of 180 reporting on yourself, but at the same time be opened up, because someone might go, you're a good guy, mate, but sometimes you can be a right wanker, and then you go, well, why, in what way? And then hopefully, I mean, you should take that sort of thing on the chin anyway, or chins, depending on how many cakes you've had, but you should be able to take it on the chins, because it's important. I think if you're not, you really need to be self-aware. You really need to understand that, we're not all perfect, but if we can go through life and just get that little bit of feedback from people and understand ourselves. I mean, I'm learning all the time about myself. I'm learning to try, and there's things that, in fact, there's a conversation between me and my dad today. We were talking about something, and I said to him, we'll just remove emotion. And it was an ironic thing, because I've been told for the last 2 years to remove emotion. I finally started listening. I finally started removing emotion from my emails or just general conversation. And it's because I suppose I just like it. I like to add loads of impact into it, but it's not for everybody. It's you got to be, it's a bit of a unique taste for that. So but I said to him, and I said, that's the importance of lessons learned, isn't it? It's the importance of moving forward positively and understanding that. And I've said this before, if you're not learning from your mistakes and you're not celebrating your wins, if you're not, reflecting on your losses, if you're not doing that in any way, shape or form, then you're not going to succeed in life. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely don't care what anyone says. If you're not going to boost yourself up when you do something good, or, push the positivity, when you've done something fantastic that's given you a good reward in whatever it may be, if you're not doing that, you're not gonna you're gonna be constantly in the downs. You're constantly gonna be in fucking low moods and trying to fucking pull yourself out of the ground. Some people don't realise the amazing things they've done, or even they're doing, or what they can do. There's so much we can do. And sometimes it's just a case of like getting your head fucking switched on and going, right, I want to go down this route. Is that achievable? How can I make it achievable? I want to try that. What does it take to do that? And then work at it and work at it and work at it. And then understand, if you make a failure, you look to the left and go, okay, why did I fail? And I've said this before. If you're not reflecting on why you fail, again, you're not going to succeed, because you need to understand why you failed. There's no point. And it's a really important thing for me, because I think that some people look at failure as a negativity. And in actual fact, failure is not a negativity. I used to look at failure as a negativity hugely. I am naturally massively competitive anyway, to the point where I couldn't give a fuck who you were, even if it doesn't matter who you said or what the sport was. So you can't do that. This fucking guy, he's got a fucking hour to live. I don't know if you can't beat him. You just got to fuck that, mate. He's got to learn he's got an hour to learn a lesson. Practice makes fucking perfect, buddy. And that's my ethos. And that's quite a negative. That's quite a strong ethos, but it is. It keeps me headstrong. But at the same time, I was a really, really, really bad sore loser. I fucking hated losing. Now, I still hate losing to this day now. I still hate it. But I think I hide it slightly better, and I mean slightly better than I used to. I don't really like losing, but I'm trying to live with it. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Put it that way. But yeah, so it's when you don't reflect on your losses, and because I didn't do that for so long, I never reflected on why I was losing. What was I doing? Why am I in this situation? Even to the point where I'm like, fucking hell, I'm led on the fucking grass, looking up at the stars, soaking fucking wet, pissed out my tree. Why am I in this situation? You drank too much fucking alcohol, James. You wouldn't do that. You just carry on. Fucking, it was not the alcohol, mate. It was basically because I didn't eat any food. So it went straight to me fucking head. And then basically that's what happened. That's never happened before. And then it happens for 6-7 weeks in a row. And you're like, you keep blacking out, mate. It's not the food, mate. You're drinking too much. These are important things. If you're not reflecting on your losses to understand why you've lost, you're never going to be stronger to move forward. It's interesting. Like I said, when I used to look at failure as a really negative point, and I hated failure, and trust me, for somebody who fails a lot, it's quite depressing because I do fail at a lot of things. I keep trying and trying and trying. I do, there's a lot of hardship. A lot of hardship goes into the success of whatever I do. It's not just a click of the fingers. It's just the fact that I don't want to give up. I just keep going and going and going. If I get to the point where I've got to give up, then I'm completely and utterly emotionally done. And I know for a fact that that's never going to connect with me. I'm never going to click with that. So I cannot do that job, that task, whatever it will be. I'm never going to get it right. So just fucking move on. Whereas before, you've got to give it a certain point where you go, right, you need to chill out, buddy. This is too much. And I think that's a learning process that massively comes with maturity as well. Because as you get mature, you do naturally relax. You do tend to become a little bit less competitive. You do try to take your time to do things. And I think we forget that as we go through life. And I think that as you mature, things become easier because you learn to accept those failures. You accept you reflect heavily on the failures to see why you failed. Can I undo that? Or, can I do this a certain way? Can I do it a slightly different way that makes it more successful? And that's where you start. The maturity level then becomes when you start thinking about ways to rectify that and make yourself stronger. It's so important to do that, to succeed in life. It's like I said, I'll always rave on about my good friends around me doing positive things. And I've seen some massive positive changes in terms of the final process of my good man Nelster. He has been on this 75 and hard challenge for 75 days. He's now on day 79. He's had a weekend off and he's going straight back on it. And he's on social media encouraging people to join him. So he's seen the success that it's given him. He worked alongside a friend of his before and got to the success of the 75 days. You've seen the positivity in just how his outlook in life is. You know, he's going out with his wife now for meals. He's got another job. He's doing all sorts of stuff. I mean, I was trying to think. I was trying to make it sound like bigger than it was. But I mean, for him and our journey together as friends, I've seen such an improvement. Not an improvement, because that's a really negative word. I've seen in such a positive an improvement in his personality. No, that's really shit, James. Keep fucking digging a hole, buddy. I'm getting the fucking JCB out. I've seen a real improvement in him. In his nature, in the way that he is looking at life. That's what I'm trying to refine. His outlook. There it is. That's the word. Pull it in. Hopefully I filled some of that hole, Nelster, if you're listening to this. It's gonna be like, he's going to fucking text me, be like, you twat. But I've seen a massive improvement in his outlook in life. He's doing extra work. He's bringing in extra money for his family. He's looking sharp, he's feeling healthy, he's positive, he's confident. You know, all of these things have come from eating healthy and dieting and exercise and positive mental attitude. PMA, old school acronym, PMA, positive mental attitude. And I've seen an improvement, and you see that slowly with everybody. And everybody you see, that you can kind of see the pockets of them finding something that they're enjoying and moving forward with it and carrying on. He's had a lifestyle change. He's stopped drinking. He's just massively into exercise. It's a real positive. You can see the life changing in that person. And I'm proud to be part of that journey. I think and it's a really super important time to celebrate the win of my good man Nelster. And that's the importance of celebrating the win for everybody that's listening, really, because you've all had small little minor milestones. There'll be things that you don't even you hear that as I'm bumbling like a fucking 1980s cartoon. You'll have things, and it frustrates me because I do it, and I don't want other people to do it. But there'll be people and there'll be things that you've done that you don't even realize are a positive impact on your life, your life or someone else's. I know they will do. If you're raising children, just by showing them the love, the respect, or giving them love, that's a positive. If you've got family around you, whatever, friends, reconnecting, talking, everything you do, sometimes you can send a message to somebody just saying, "Hi, buddy, how are you?" And that's how small that's how small the detail it takes to make someone's day different. Is by you could just message them and just go, "Buddy, how are you?" I messaged someone actually on Friday. I messaged two people from my previous job on Friday, and I said, you know, "How the devil are you?" I spoke to them for about a couple of weeks, I think it was, and they said, "I was just thinking about you. I just wanted to make sure you were okay." That is you can't put a price on that. You really can't. That is what life is about. It's having people around you that want to check in on you, that want to care for you, that want to see you succeed, are positive with you succeeding, and want to be part of that journey of success, just like you want to be part of their journey for their success. We're here to celebrate each other's wins. That's why friendships are so invaluable. There is no point in going through life alone. You will not enjoy it. We need alone time. We need time for myself. Like Christ, I practically live in my man cave because I need that time away, because it is fucking chaotic in the house. But for me, it's all the little nuances, all the little pieces that are just adding now to my life. As I said at the start of 24, it's more for 24. I started this journey just over 2 years ago from my last suicide attempt. And it's progressed into it's been up and down. I've not know what I've done. Some of my podcasts, even saying to my friend, actually, I was talking about my podcast and I was saying, you know, there is some tough ones out there because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm being open and honest. So there is some ones that are tough listens. But ultimately, the positivity of moving forward and being able to talk about yourself and understand mental health, because we often make decisions in our life that impact our path in negative ways, but we can't help it. There's also choices we make that we shouldn't make, but we have made them and we don't know how to undo them, so we need to unpick that. And all of this can be nurtured with good friends around you, taking advice, good family, good loved ones, people that want to see you succeed. It's so important to have people. I've had people that, in inverted commas, little bunny ears, have said that they want to see me succeed, and I've had people that have proven me completely wrong in the end, actually, some of those people. So it's important, but that's life. I think you're always going to get that. You're always going to get those people. The key parts of when you get hold of those people is just use it as a lesson. Don't take hardship over it. Don't dwell on it. Don't try and rekindle something. If that person or that thing or that process has happened, just acknowledge it, learn from it, shut it down, and move forward. Because I guarantee leopard doesn't change his spots in any way, shape, or form. Even if you're the person that is causing the trouble, you're listening to this and you go, oh yeah, got this and this. If you're not willing to help yourself, then a leopard won't change its spots. If you've got mental health problems and you're not wanting to help yourself and really own yourself, hold that accountability for yourself to understand your own personality and your own direction, your own outlook, if you're not willing to take control of that, you're never going to succeed. All of these are encompassed in succeeding in life. And I'm not no guru. I'm not a guru. But this, to me, is just basic stuff. We need to learn from our mistakes. If we don't learn from our mistakes, or if we keep doing... It's like people that... A classic example of somebody who's not going to learn from their mistakes is somebody that is in and out of prison. Okay? That's the lifestyle they've chosen. Can they learn from their mistake? Yes, you can get out of prison. You can get a trade. You can get a job. You can earn some money. And you can, become a functioning, in inverted commas, we're going to use that twice today, persons of society. You can be. But if you find that the easy option is stealing, or whatever it is, you're going to go back to prison, and you know that is the risk of you going back to prison, then you're not learning from your mistakes. It's as simple as that. That's an easy way of dealing with it. So you're not. But if you decide that when you come out, actually, I've had enough of stealing cars because it's putting me in there, and I don't really get a good life. I've not gotten a job, whatever it may be. Sometimes you may be in too deep. I don't know. There's lots of parameters in life, but we've got to learn from them, and it is so important to learn. And it's. I suppose the drive for this podcast has come even more after talking and reconnecting with these people in my life in the last couple of weeks. And mainly because it's crazy to me that I'm talking to 5 different individual people from different walks of life that don't predominantly know each other in any real capacity. The only common real figure is they know me, but they're all saying the same things. They've all had similar struggles, and they've all put on the mask, and they've all hidden their emotions, and nothing's changed. They just get to the point where they think it's going to be okay tomorrow if we keep trying. Well, actually, we can take charge of that. We can open up and talk, get ourselves actively talking, create these groups, which is what I love organizing stuff. So I'm creating this thing now where we're going to get together. We're going to do some pitch and putt. We're going to have a barbecue at mine, and we're going to have a central clock and balls day, and we're going to have a good time. And I'm going to organise that because I want to get all the lads together, and I want us to just talk and have a good time. And I think that that's a driving factor for me, is I really, really, really like people having a good time. So I like hosting, because I like people to come around and feel special for the night. I like to make people feel special and enjoy something. So when they walk away from here, they've had a really good time, and it's created a memory for them in their life that will impact them. That's the importance of life. That's what we're here to do. We're here to make memories, good memories, not bad memories. Nobody wants to fill their fucking life with bad memories of stuff I did do, stuff I shouldn't have done. Oh Christ, I've done this. You need to just push those away and start overtaking them with positive memories of you organising, getting out there, trying new things, trying new hobbies, trying new sports, opening up new friendships, challenging yourself, looking for a new path, new journey, new horizon, whatever it may be, saving for a holiday. We can have a plethora of things that we can do to keep ourselves happy. But what we need to do is we need to start filling our head with those positive memories. Because if we just keep taking over with dark memories, you're just going to fill yourself with depression and madness and fucking darkness. And that's it. And that's often what happens when you talk to a lot of people. You tend to understand. It's like this person. So a little bit about this sort of follow on really. So I've started mentoring somebody, and basically with ADHD. Recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and I've started mentoring them and having open conversations to support them because they're in a world of unknown. They just don't know how to deal with certain things. I'm probably a little bit more experienced in terms of how I deal with my emotions, even though I can fucking let them go. Because trust me, once my emotions go, it's like a light switch. I keep telling everybody, fucking, it's not a place you want to be. So it's important to, but this is a really, like, I suppose it's a really rewarding thing for me to do. And I'm really looking forward to being part of this person's journey in understanding this mental health condition and how we can manage it in the work environment and things like that. So it's like, and I've been handpicked. My mate said, I really need you to do this for me, mate. I think you'd be fab at it. And it's another little niche, another little thing I enjoy doing. So it's so important. That was it. I was just pulling into the mentee bit. I was just thinking the managing of the mental health and helping and supporting people is just, it's a wonderful experience to try and create positive memories and help somebody that's struggling. Again, this is a person, and believe it or not, this isn't a man, this is a woman, and I'm saying I'm same genders. I almost don't know why I still feel reluctant to say something about that, but it is a woman who don't normally sort of have struggles, I suppose. Well, they do have struggles, but it's a completely new world, really. So I'm going to enjoy the process because it's like it's getting it from a different perspective as well of how what their mental health and how they react and how they deal with things. And I'm going to take a lot from this because I'm going to learn probably about. Well, I'm obviously going to learn about ADHD from a different perspective. So for me, it's a really, really wonderful experience to be part of helping somebody as well as learning. And that's the important. I might take tips and tricks, or I might be able to offer some advice, which is going to naturally boost my serotonin because I'm helping somebody that has gone through struggles. Because we do. Lots of us have been through struggles, and lots of us don't know how to get out of those struggles. As I alluded to at the start of the conversation, the start of the poddy, shall we say, the people that go through things, we don't often, a lot of the things we go through in life, we don't often get a choice of when to deal with them. If you've lost a parent, if you're losing a parent, or, a relationship's ended, or you've lost a friend one, or any loved one in that matter, you don't get to choose when that happens. That's a side swiper. That's something that just happens. But we don't realise just how fucking stressful those things can be. So it's important, and this is one thing I'm trying to learn. I'll be honest, I haven't been able to hone in on it. I've got a lot of, I suppress all of my emotions. So when I say that we still, we still hide things, I do it. I can't help. It literally. So here I am shouting. I can't believe it still happens. Well, you still do it, James. So fucking hell, take a leaf out of your own book, sir. But it is. I bottle them up, and it's still really, really difficult to try and manage that. And it's so important that we try to manage other areas, to try and reduce stress, to try and manage our mental health. Because if you're not doing those things on a daily basis, if you're not naturally going out for a walk at a certain period, I'm not saying go out and beast yourself every single day, but if you're not going out for a little cheeky walk, or you're not getting plenty of water, or you're not socializing with people, if you're not doing those things, if you're not eating healthy, if you're not trying to read a book or take on some sort of information to try and challenge yourself, if you're not looking at the next 5 years, and here I'm going to say it again because I'm a massive advocate for them, but setting yourself a goal. If you've not set yourself a goal for something you want to achieve, life's just going to be fucking hard. And then when you get that side swiper, that little bomb that you didn't expect, and you go, You know, especially as I see it more and more now. I'm breaking into my 40s, almost like my 20s and 30s, where I was almost invincible. It's what it felt like. I literally could probably have taken on the world. You get to your 40s, you start realizing, you know, once you've got a pudgy midriff because, you know, your metabolism's completely and utterly fucking abolished. It's just completely gone. It's non-existent. I say that with a lot of passion because I'm looking down at it now. I've started fasting for a couple of weeks and I've lost a bit of weight. I feel good, but it's not as good as I want to be feeling. But it's interesting how you go through life, and if you don't manage the things that you should be doing, and that's like spending time with your friends, talking to your friends, or organising things with friends, family, loved ones, or, you know, trying to create memories, try new hobbies, try new things. I almost take a leaf out of a person with ADHD's book. I've got fucking hobbies coming out of my ears. I've tried fucking everything. Honestly, mental fucking life of the stuff that I've done. Motocross, racing bikes, fucking wakeboarding. I've got a SUP paddleboard. I've been in a Typhoon Eurofighter. I've driven a fucking tank. And this isn't a big me. This is just shit that I've just done just because I want to experience life. So, and that's because the ADHD. Well, it's almost like you want everybody to have a little snippet of that, because you're like, that's what I get. I do this because I get dopamine and adrenaline from it. So because I don't produce dopamine on a natural fucking thing, I rely on, you know, big social functions and everything. I get hyperactive and fucking, you know, the fun comes in and I'm getting endorphins. I'm completely and utterly fucking disheveled and half the man the next day because my social battery is depleted. But it's just about managing that. So it's about, I think if you don't do that and you don't do those good things naturally, when you start forgetting those good things, that's when life's going to kick you in the dick. It's going to put on a size of fucking 10 steel toe caps, and it's going to take a fucking wallop, and it's just going to, you know, it's going to just get at the crisp part of your ball bag, and it's going to fucking knock them through your teeth. That's quite description there, but that's what's going to happen. And they're going to pop out of each ear, so you're going to look like fucking Dumbo. That is the level of detail that I am going to on this, because that's what will happen. And as we get into this realm, like I said, when we're 40s, almost 20s and 30s are invincible. But you get to your 30s, I think, and you start fucking real. You say invincible, but, you know, life just chucks stuff at us. When you get to 40, you start realizing people are fragile. Your parents are getting into their 60s and 70s. They're starting to, you know, your parents, your friends are starting to lose loved ones. So your life is naturally surrounded by a little bit of a cloud of hurt, a cloud of depression, because we're going to get struck down. That's life. It's inevitable. And as harsh as that fucking sounds, it is life. Unfortunately, we are going to get stung. So what do we do to stop that? We create memories. We create good memories with good people around us on the regular, so that when we dip into this place where we're going to be, which is going to be a fucking pit of despair, I know for a fact that when I lose my German Shepherd, who's 13, a frog in my throat there. A frog in my throat. Because when I lose my dog, I don't know what I'm going to fucking do. And that sounds, you know, I mean, there's obviously other people, but that's probably the closest thing on the horizon to my life at the moment that I can foresee, is my dog is 13. So I need to prepare for that. I need to be surrounded by people that are going to look after me. I need to be surrounded by people that want to be part of my life to help me. That's the important bit. And I've got to keep doing the happy memories so that when it comes to that day, and I can foresee that, not foresee the exact date, but I know it's going to happen at some point in the near future. So, but I've got to be prepared for that. How can you be prepared for that without being morbid? Well, I'm not saying be prepared like, right, you need to be ready, mate. You need to get your fucking tissue paper out and everything, start crying your eyes out, fucking, you know. No, I'm not talking about preparation like that. What I'm talking about is start doing happy things in life, making memories. Give you something to dip into the bank of memories, to pull them out when you're sat there and you're feeling life is on top of you. You're feeling tough. You're feeling like you're being fucking grounded to the ground. You're going into work. You're getting pulled left, right, and centre. You're going into the house. The house is a stressful place. You've got fucking teenage fucking kids like me, 3 fucking teenage daughters that are batshit crazy, all in sync with their periods. So it's fucking chaos in there, and I'm not even bigging it up a little bit. It's genuine. It's dangerous in there. When they're all on their period, it's fucking dangerous. And I'm a man that is talking to other men. It's dangerous, and I'm scared for my life sometimes when I see them in there. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether I'm going to get shanked. It's a fucking genuine fear sometimes. I think I'm going to get shanked by my fucking daughter. Definitely, she's definitely going for the juggy. She's getting a fucking shank straight in the jugular. I'm telling you now, she's going to have me. It's a dangerous place. That's why I lock myself in the man cave. I do the podcast every now and then to reflect on the times. I'm going to break it up there because I have spoke to you for a long time, but I've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I hope you have. Don't forget, I'd like to look at anyone out there listening. I'd like a bit of 180 reporting. Maybe there's someone out there that's listened and gone, from what I've heard from you, you're fucking batshit crazy, James. I'll be like, I concur. So yeah, I'd like to hear a bit of feedback, actually. It'd be quite nice. But yeah, and it's important. I think we should all get a little bit of that feedback. It's where do you think you go wrong? But be prepared. If someone wants to put a little negative fucking punch in there, you got to be prepared for it. And I value that, mate. Bring it on, because then you can turn and learn. You know what I'm saying? It's all about turning and learning, baby. Little Top Gun reference in there. Turn and burn. So yeah, I think it's important. But I mean, don't be a fucking arsehole, though. If you're listening and you're going to give someone, a little bit of feedback, don't be an arsehole. And that's indirectly from me as well. I think it's important that we do this. I've had some positive times in a time of turmoil over the coming months, or over the previous months, sorry. And I think it's important that, we do these things, and we organise things, we book things, we make memories, okay? That's what I'm trying to get to. We're making memories, people. We're nurturing the right people. And it's not about... try not to make your fucking journey about yourself as well. I'll say that to a few people. Try and make it about fucking, try and collaborate with these people. Pull them in. Make them fucking fun with you. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to stop talking there because I have droned on enough. Yeah. I can't sing for shit. But I'm going to try. Have an amazing week. Promise me. And I do hope that you are being successful in your endeavours through life. And make sure, hopefully these little tips and tricks, they're just going to chuck you a little bone so you can, give the dog a bone. Give me a phone. So, yeah, take care. Look after yourself. And I'm dribbling on now, so that's me. I'm done. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. Love you. Bye.